of the Public Works Department, which includes water facilities, wastewater facilities, maintenance, construction maintenance, underground utilities, parks, and public buildings. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this village greatly depends on these facilities and services. And whereas the quality of effectiveness of these facilities, as well as other planning and design and construction, are dependent upon the efforts and skill of the public works professionals. And whereas the efficiency and the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments and significantly influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, I, John Skillman, Village President of Carpentersville, I here proclaim May 20th through May 26th, 2018 as National Public Works Week. And thank you, guys. Okay, Kelly, we have any appointments, confirmations tonight?
None tonight.
On tonight, and we move on to public comment.
Is Melissa here? No.
Melissa, she couldn't be here tonight, and the Dundee Crown incubator class also could not make it. They'll be both coming back in June.
Okay, I'll make note of that. So then we do have one commenter here for public comment, Mr. Tom Wall. And you can come up now, sir. Yep.
Okay, thank you all for attending this very important meeting. I just have a few comments about the agenda here tonight. My name is Tom Wall. I'm a Carpentersville resident. I'd like to state for the official record here tonight, as a longtime Carpentersville resident, that I believe the official language of Carpentersville should remain English for the following reasons. First of all, any change to this policy is going to cost the city of Carpentersville money for signs, literature forms, etc. This would cost money and would result in more taxes for me and other taxpayers. Secondly, we're in the United States of America, and that is the official language. It's English. I have nothing against anybody in America as long as they assimilate to our borders, our language, and our culture, which is English. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wall.
Tom. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anybody, any other comments?
I am not scheduled to speak here.
Could you please state your name for the record, ma'am?
Pardon me?
Could you please state your name?
My name is Bridget Ginn. I live in Carpentersville.
Thank you.
And I moved here 3 years ago. I have something important to say about this because it makes me very, very upset that this issue even came up about the language here. I was born and raised in Germany. I came here for the first time in 1970. I did not speak a word of English. I had to learn everything that I know today by myself. And I do not understand why other people don't have to have the same challenges that I have. It was very, very difficult for me, but I learned it. And I think that everybody that comes to the United States needs to do the same thing, because this is not Mexico, this is not Spain, this is America, and America is English. And that's what I have to say. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. All right, next item, Kelly. Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless a trustee so requests, in which the event of the item will be removed in general order of business and considered as normal sequence on the agenda. So we have items A, B, C, D, and E tonight on our agenda.
And F.
I'm sorry. And F, thank you.
I'll motion to pass the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
A motion by trustee Rayberg, second by trustee Frost. Call roll, please.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
and Trustee Rayberg.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is reports of the manager and staff.
Mr. President, we don't have any reports this evening.
Okay, no reports. Thank you. Old business, we do have a resolution approving a redevelopment agreement with Community District 300. Patrick? Yeah.
And I was going to ask if Trustee Vela would
recuse.
like to.
I will recuse.
Excuse you.
Yeah.
I'll motion.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll second.
and a second by trustee O'Sullivan. Any discussion? Go ahead, Pat.
Good evening. April 3rd, District 300 presented its request for assistance for demolishing the old Tom Thumb building at 116 Carpenter Boulevard. Since then, they've received bids for all three aspects of the demolition project. Originally, they were estimating it was going to be about $190,000 for the project. The lowest and responsive bidders came in just under $198,000. But the recommendation remains to partially fund it up to 50%, but not to exceed $95,000. And Dan Opels of District 300 is with us this evening if there are any questions for District 300.
No questions. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. I saw him out there. Okay, we have a motion. Excuse me. Oh, there you are. Thank you. We have a motion and we have a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg,
Yes.
and Trustee Frost.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Excuse me. Okay, we do have some new business tonight. First letter of a resolution approving the use of land, authorizing the village manager and execute the water service line temporary construction license agreement and release in association with the village's Illinois Route 31 and Huntley Road, Main Street intersection improvement project. Yeah, I need a motion, please.
I'll motion.
Motion, trustee Rayberg.
I'll second it.
Second, trustee Frost. And discussion, please.
Go ahead, Kevin. Thank you.
Yep. On March 23rd, the village received official communication from the IEPA that mandated that the village inventory all the village's lead services, water services in town. We also learned that the Illinois Department of Public Health is now holding water utilities accountable for ensuring that the entire water service, both public and private, be replaced in conjunction with any water main project. That being said, staff realized that we had a couple projects that were upcoming that had water services as a component of the project. The first being Route 31 and Huntley Road intersection improvement project. We inventoried all the services on that project, and we found 20 to contain lead. The other project was the Route 31 4-inch abandonment project, and that had 5 lead water services as a component on that project as well. So the resolution tonight would authorize the village manager to execute 25 license agreement to allow access to the properties to replace private and public lead water services.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Gray?
Does the village replace those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we incorporated it. We found out right at the last minute, so we were able to get it on the included as a pay item on the IDOT project for Route 31.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important to note, too, that this is going to add cost to our projects in the future. This is the first one where we've got lead services that essentially the state's mandating that we replace. So it is important to note that. The license agreement, too, correct. request permission from the owner for the village to do the work, but they also can refuse, and that we're documenting if that's the case too. So
Correct, yep.
part of the issue is, we have to enter private property to do the work. That's part of the problem, so. Thank you.
Commercial and residential, right? Or is it just
Yeah,
commercial?
on 31 Huntley, I want to say, I believe there's 3 commercial, and the rest are residential.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Are you up on the next one too?
Yeah.
All right,
We
so,
need a vote
so we have a
still.
motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rayberg,
Yes.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
and Trustee O'Sullivan.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item, Kevin, you want to go over that on the grant submittal, please?
Yeah, so presented before you tonight is a resolution authorizing the village to submit a grant application for supplemental funding for the 29 Sidewalk and Roadway Improvement Program to the King County Office of Community Reinvestment for the 2018 Community Development Fund Grant, aka CDBG grant. This is a grant that we utilize every year to basically double one of our roadway improvement projects. So this year we'll be requesting approximately $261,000 to resurface Navajo Drive from Helm Road to Papoose Road, which is at the end of Woodland Elementary. If we are not successful with receiving the grant, we'll actually shorten the project and only go to Sioux Avenue. So basically Navajo from Helm to Sioux. But we have been successful. In the past 12 years, we've received actually 12 grants. Last year, we received $240,000 for the resurfacing of Wakefield Drive, which is scheduled to take place this summer.
Questions? Okay, thank you. I need a motion, please.
I'll motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion, Trustee Rayburg, second, Trustee O'Sullivan. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg,
Yes.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence.
Yes.
Motion carries. And our last item in new business is a resolution repealing the resolution R07-84. Need a motion, please?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
A motion by Trustee Rayberg, a second by Trustee O'Sullivan. In discussion?
So,
Yeah. My comments start with a reference to Leviticus, chapter 19. When an alien resides with you in your land, do not mistreat such a one. You shall treat the alien who resides with you no differently than the natives born among you. You shall love the alien as yourself, for you too were once aliens in the land of Egypt. Many among us are the children of immigrants ourselves. You're looking at one. Some of us are advantaged because our parents spoke English when we got here. So they didn't have the disadvantage of having to learn a language. They didn't have that barrier, at least, to overcome. But there's plenty of evidence that the next generation and the one after that certainly learn the language and don't live in linguistic ghettos. And let's also not be persuaded by rumors on the dark web that somehow vast expenditures are going to be made accommodating second languages in this village. They're not. President Skillman was elected on a platform of fiscal responsibility, and that's not going to change. All we're doing here tonight is righting a wrong, righting an injustice, righting what was clearly done as an effort by a previous council to make a point, a very mean-spirited point, specifically at one group within our village who by now, I might add, has become the majority group in this village. And I want to encourage everyone within the sound of my voice to register, to vote, and if you are already registered, to vote That is how we affect change in this nation, by voting. Exercise your franchise. We don't do it in the streets. We don't do it on the dark web, spreading fear, mongering rumors, inciting hatred. This community is coming together, and it's all about progressing. We're here to love one another. That is why we're here. And we're getting rid of this law that was spawned of hatred tonight.
And I'm going to chime in on that. I'm also born from immigrants. The reason for my vote tonight is because we are all equal. It's not about raising taxes, as rumors would be on whatever Facebook or social media post you're going after. I was born in this country and had to translate languages between my family. Tonight is about unity, it's about togetherness, and it's doing the right thing. It's not saying Polish, Spanish, Russian, Cuban. We're not making exceptions. We're tonight voting to say we're all one person. And English might be some of our second languages, might be our first, it might be our third or fourth. My family fought hard to come to this country. And what tonight is about is we're one. We're moving together as a community. We're moving together as a family, neighborhood families. We share the same values, and we have to start somewhere, and that somewhere is tonight.
Thank you, Trustee
I also
Lawrence.
would like to chime in on that, too. I was nominated to this board in November, or appointed to this board in November, and a stipulation was that we would bring this village together, not an east side, not a west side. We would form one Village of Carpentersville, and that was one reason I took this position, to help move this village forward and continue to move forward. And I think we're heading in the right direction with what's going on, and that's why I will vote yes tonight.
Any other comments? Thank you, Trustee Frost.
I'm very excited about what's happening here tonight. We are a community of different ethnicities. It's very important that we all feel welcomed, and with this vote tonight, I think that we are showing that we want to move forward as one. We want to be in unity, and this is what will happen moving forward from this day on.
Thank you.
I'll just wrap it up by, since everyone's saying their piece. I don't think anyone really cares where I was born. I've been on the board for over 5 years, and I don't think this resolution has come up a single time, good or bad. In my time on the board, I've never had any conversation with any residents about it. It was never even a campaign issue in any of the campaigns that I followed since this happened. If it's possible to divorce the feelings from this measure, I just don't think the resolution accomplished anything, at least anything positive. Again, it was never discussed. Nothing really came of it. I believe it was on the record for about 10 years now, and I don't think anyone can really point to any KPIs or any type of positive outcome from this. So, with that in mind, that weighs heavily on my vote. This just isn't something that is moving the needle within the village one way or the other.
Thank you, Trustee Rayburn. I also had a discussion this afternoon with Trustee Humfer, who was originally around in 2007 and made this motion. And he today told me that he would be in favor of, he had to work tonight, work downtown, so he said he wouldn't be here. But he said for sure he was in favor of this moving forward. He was all behind, so he wanted me to send that message along to everyone tonight. So just one comment. The majority of our village, with our new census, looks like it's going to be over 50% Latino, okay? And we're, we're different, we're a diverse community, We have a great high school here in town, Dundee Crown high schools, voted one in the top 100 best high schools, right? So we're very proud of them. It's very diverse. The kids that go to college and the kids that don't, you know, when they go to college, they understand, you know, how to deal with different people, you know. It's very, I'm hearing this from students, you know, all the time. I mean, I coach at Dundee Crown football, so I know a lot of the children that go there, students, and when they come back from college, like we had a game the other night, and, you know, I talked to all the students, and they said they had a great time at college, and it was because they went to Dundee Crown, and they lived in Carpentersville, and they got to learn diversity firsthand. So it's kind of neat, and I was proud to hear that from the students. So I don't want to point anybody out, but I want to say that I can promise you in the crowd here tonight that we will spend no extra money on having to do anything different than we're doing today. As Trustee Rayberg said, we really haven't done anything different in the past 11 years. So everybody should be aware of that, okay? Everybody at home, everybody watching tonight. So we are just trying to repeal this, get this off the records, move forward, and there's no other, you know, reasoning for this. So I don't want anybody to be upset about this. I want you guys to, you know, everybody stay positive, and that's you know, we're moving in a positive direction, you know. And I know the people that live in Carpentersville. I've lived here my whole life, going to be 56 years next month. So I've lived it, you know, and I'm living it still today. And I will continue to, and my family does too. So, Attorney Stewart, anything? Any comments?
Well, as I'm not in a policy-making decision, I would defer to what the village board has said at this time. Other than the one comment, you know, was made about the potential financial impact to the village. There has been no financial savings realized since 2007 to, you know, buttress what both President Skillman and Trustee Rayberg have said. There will be no cost savings or additional costs to the village as a result of this resolution, and that's all I would say at this time.
Yeah, we the only time we ever do anything in a different language is for emergency care. We have a police chief and a fire chief here that they can attest to that. They understand. We have to communicate to the public, right? Our dispatch center speaks German, speaks Chinese, speaks Japanese. They speak every language at the dispatch center. They have a phone line that can call, and they can just, you know, translate any language out there that has to be translated. So our 911 operators do that every day. So just want everybody to understand that.
Village Manager Huber, are you aware of any actions that took place after the resolution was passed? What I'm getting at is there anything that needs to be wound down should this resolution be struck from the record?
No, the resolution was
ceremonial,
just, you know, guidance for an official language, and was symbolic. Staff hasn't taken any actions or incurred any costs to do any work associated with anything to translate any specific document, form, or anything into any specific language. As President Skillman said, if our emergency services require us to do something, we have to communicate with our residents the best we know how, to the best of our ability, and that would be staff's duty, because if it's a public safety issue, we have to make sure everybody's safe. But no, there's nothing specifically implemented that requires any cost. We don't have to undo anything as far as any translation and additional language communication goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rayberg,
Yes.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
and Trustee O'Sullivan.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So we're going to move on to the next item, trustee and committee reports. Trustee Lawrence, why don't you go first tonight?
Tomorrow evening, we are having an events committee at Public Works at 6:30, and that is all I have on my list today.
Okay, thank you. Maria? No report?
No comment.
Trustee Frost?
For anybody that did attend the Cinco de Mayo celebration last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I think it was a big success. Had some nice weather. It was a good time. So other than that, I think summer might be here. So
Ma'am, we're not asking for comments.
We have an Oktoberfest anymore. No, we don't.
Ma'am, you're not informed. I'm
You're out
sorry.
of order. Public comment is limited. Please respect the decorum of the meeting.
Trustee Lawrence would be glad to talk to you after the meeting about our events. And you can actually become involved. We'd love to have you. Trustee Frost, are you done? I'm sorry.
yes, that's it.
Trustee Rayberg?
Our next audit and finance, so for everyone in the room, we have a bunch of different commissions that handle a bunch of different things. Trustee Lawrence handles, our liaison, board liaison for our events, the things that you see Cinco de Mayo. There's a lot of effort on the village's part to put these things together. Trustee Lawrence spearheads that. I am the chair of our Audit and Finance Commission. The Audit and Finance Commission basically reviews the budget every year and prioritizes where your money is going to be spent on the various projects and initiatives that the village undergoes. So my report from for the next Audit and Finance meeting, we'll have our next one on June 26th. It should cover a number of budget issues. Everyone's welcome to attend. In addition to that, I just want to thank everyone for coming out today and performing your civic duty to see what we're all doing and weigh your personal opinions, pro or con, based on what we're doing. I appreciate it. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rayberg. Trustee O'Sullivan?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. I second what Trustee Rayberg said. Definitely thank you guys seriously for standing up and talking and keeping it, positive. Okay, thank you. Again, we had a good weekend, a couple weeks. We had our Dundee Crown and Jacobs. We had our game the other night, Saturday night, and they raised a lot of money for one of our residents who had a stroke. One of our young men. He's like in his 20s, so it was a great fundraiser. So everybody is doing well from that. Next item on the agenda would be no closed session tonight. So why don't we take a short break here, guys? Do we need a motion for that?
Just, you can declare us in recess.
Just a short recess, and we'll reconvene in about 10 minutes. Thank you.